Good morning, viewers. It's Tuesday morning, January 14, 2025, and I'm your host, Sunil Thakker of Sunny Talks Money. Welcome to ST Money's Business News. We provide you the latest and updated 5 minutes summarized US market wrap. Before we roll on, please do subscribe, like, and share this video. Thank you. Now, let's roll. A renewed wave of dip buying fueled a rebound in stocks on Monday. Though the Nasdaq fell, the benchmark S&P 500 bounced off a 2-month low and eked out a slight gain as US Treasury yields stayed elevated with investors dialing back expectations on the pace of rate cuts from the Federal Reserve. The S&P 500 had weekly losses in 4 of the 5 last weeks. Recent economic data has indicated a resilient economy with nagging price pressures, which has pressured their equities and have also fueled worries about inflation. Almost 380 companies in the S&P 500 rose on Monday, with the gauge wiping out a decline that approached 1% earlier in the day. The S&P 500 rose 0.16% or 9 points to 5,832. The Dow Jones Industrial Average climbed 358 points to 42,297. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq 100 fell 0.38% or 73 points to 19,088. The Russell 2000 index of small firms added 0.2%. A Bloomberg gauge of the Magnificent 7 mega cap slipped 0.4%. The Philadelphia Semiconductor Index was lower too. Some of the largest tech names were particularly hard hit, with Nvidia down 1.97%, while Apple lost 1% and Meta Performs retreated 1.2%. Micron Tech was off 4.31% after the US government said it would further restrict artificial intelligence chip and technology exports. United Health Group gained 3.93% after the US government proposed 2026 reimbursement rates for Medicare Advantage plans run by private insurers, which would result in a 2.2% increase in payments. CVS Health and Humana jumped about 7% as the S&P 500 healthcare sector rose 1.27%. Meanwhile, Moderna plummeted 16.8% as the biggest decliner on the S&P 500 after slashing its 2025 sales forecast by $1 billion. Utilities led decliners. Edison International tumbled more than 11.89% after it was reported the Southern California utility was hit with a lawsuit blaming the company's equipment for igniting one of the wildfires consuming parts of the state. Energy climbed 2.25%, the biggest daily gain of the 11 major S&P sectors, as crude prices kept rising on expectations that tougher US sanctions on Russian oil would force buyers in India and China to other suppliers. Treasury yields edged higher with the benchmark 10-year note yield touching a 14-month high of 4.805% and last up 1.6 basis points to 4.79%. Global oil benchmark Brent advanced 1.6% to $81.01 a barrel, building on Friday's big jump in response to new sanctions on Moscow. Spot gold fell 1% to $2,622 an ounce. Bitcoin fell 1.1% to $93,562 at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. The decline weighed on Coinbase Global, which dropped 2.9%. The next big test for stocks and bonds could arrive on Wednesday when US consumer price inflation CPI and the central bank's beige book on economic